Welcome back to another episode. If this is your first time here joining us on Inactive Listening, I'm your host, Logan.
And I'm Walter.
We're both your hosts, if you haven't caught that. But today, on this episode, we are going to be primarily focusing on video games.
Dude.
That's right.
Dude. I'm so pumped.
I love video games.
There's not many times where I get to talk about video games with like other people.
Exactly. Yeah, there's only so much about it.
Yeah, there's only so many times I can keep having the same conversations in my head. The voices are getting tired.
With the shampoo bottles, you talk to them.
What?
In the shower?
Shampoo bottles in the shower? There's an engineering term called like talking to your rubber ducky. It's like a CS thing where before you turn in your code, you like sit in the bathtub and talk to your rubber ducky.
Because they're babies or what?
No, because they just need someone to like check over things real quick. I don't know. Huh. For one of the swim meets last year, they handed out free rubber duckies for like a student body event. It's pretty cool.
Because you do coding?
Well, because I swim.
CS? Oh,
wait. And there are, like, it's a STEM school. There are CS people there. That was kind of the vibe.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Last week we talked about music. All right, it's actually been longer than a week ago, but anyway, we talked about music last episode, and I really wanted to get into video game music.
Yeah.
Because video game music, we kind of did.
But this, like, we're standing right now at the lip of a crevice unlike any man has ever seen.
Exactly.
Like, bigger than the Grand Canyon, full of just
video games,
video game music, and creativity,
artwork,
and our passion for it, artwork.
Yes.
The emotions behind it.
My mom and dad were kids whenever, like, Mario came out.
Yeah.
I guess I couldn't really say that they were, like, they played the first video games ever, because they weren't, like, born in the 70s, like Pong or whenever that was. But
yeah.
But they spent a lot of time outside. Not saying that we don't.
Wow.
But we also spent probably more time playing video games than they probably did.
So they touched grass.
I also touch grass.
I touch grass too. It's healthy for you.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that everyone in the room here has touched grass.
Yeah. My parents also dabbled in video games, like, I don't know, a little bit, man. Like,
really? I wouldn't have expected.
My mom liked playing Asteroids. That was her go-to game. But she was really bad at it. Her words, not mine. And my dad didn't really even... I think they both went to arcades, but neither of them ever owned, like, a home console.
Really?
Yeah.
My mom owns a lot of the Nintendo. We don't have the GameCube. We don't have the Wii U. Everything else, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm. NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Nintendo 64.
This is for people if you don't know what we're talking about.
Yes, yeah.
The Wii.
Yep.
A staple. If you don't know what the Wii is, I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
High selling console. Very cheap too if you want to buy one right now.
I think like $100.
Or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you can find them at a garage sale, might get your hands on for I don't know.
Not a pretty penny. An ugly penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe an Abraham. Maybe an Abraham will do the trick.
Yeah.
Or Andrew Jackson.
Yeah. Not a Hamilton though.
No. Or Frank. You could do it. I mean, you could buy for a Franklin, but that'd be overpricing at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was the last thing that you bought online? That's what I want to know. That's a burning question I've had all week.
Video game related or just
anything?
Anything. Okay.
If it's too explicit, we can bleep it out.
Yeah, I bought... No. I bought a flute.
How long ago?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah.
So was this prior to our recording?
Honestly, I couldn't remember. Couldn't tell you. I just cracked it open yesterday, actually. Started messing around with it. I cleaned it up a little bit.
Like a metal one?
Yeah, like a real flute.
You like it?
I like it a lot. picked it up for 60 bones.
Ooh.
60 buckaroos.
Is that a good price for them?
I
said
think so.
like I would know. But...
My absolute limit was 80.
Okay.
And I'm sure like a brand new quality flute is like upward of $200. I think they're pretty cheap when it comes to instruments, but I was happy with it.
Nice. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to ask me the same thing?
Oh. Logan, what is the last thing you bought online?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I have a little gift for you. This was the last thing that... It was an order. I bought an order of things. A calculator, charger. I can't spoil too much. What else did I buy? Oh, no. You know what? No. The last thing I bought was actually clear phone cases and 3 clear phone cases, $5 a piece, and clear spray adhesive. Little plan I'm doing.
Okay.
Because have you seen my new phone case?
Whoa.
Yeah, I made that.
Whoa. For all the listeners,
MF Doom, Operation Doomsday.
Logan is showing me a very cool
in a clear case.
Phone case, which is this a sticker?
No, just a piece of paper. Printed it off.
Wow.
Sized it up.
That's crazy.
Cut it out.
It's just a really neat printed piece of paper that has the Operation Doomsday album cover on it.
From MF Doom.
It matches really well with the phone.
Thank you, man.
That looks darn near professional, bro.
Just put the piece of paper in the case, fits perfect dimensions, and then put the case on my phone. It's clear. You can't, like the case is clear, you can't scratch the design. So I was going to see about a way that I can actually glue it down, because I made 2 other designs. An Asia by Steely Dan one.
Whoa.
And another MF Doom that was blue. But getting back to what I got you, a little gift. And I wrapped it in my sweatshirt, so.
Which I had moved right before we recorded this, so I wonder, I don't know, Logan, if you noticed that, but that probably made you sweat a little bit.
No, whenever I saw you pick it up, I grabbed it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what this is, guys. I don't know. Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I bought 2 of them because I wanted one.
that's fair.
It is a Rainbow Goblins Masayoshi Takanaka CD.
Yeah.
In package.
That is so sick.
I don't know if it's Peter and you or just Peter has it on vinyl.
Vinyl, yeah.
Which I've always wanted for so long. Expensive online. Can't find it in stores anywhere.
Yeah, and we have looked.
Really?
Like, Peter and I have gone to many record stores on, like, not really vacation, but, like, when he went to state to swim in Indy, we checked out 2 record stores in Indianapolis, and they didn't have it. That is so sick.
I don't know how much you listen to CDs. I have been collecting a lot of CDs lately as well.
Like, this is going to...
It's such a good album.
This might come with me to college, I'm not going to lie.
I didn't want to wait for your birthday. Because your birthday is like next year.
Yes, yeah, that's a long time. But I'll remember that. Thanks, Logan. That's
no
really
problem.
cool. I didn't expect that. That is really cool.
We also have gotten a new mic. So
Yes.
Walter is using a new microphone. It's just like mine.
Yeah, we'll see if you guys had picked up on that beforehand. But yeah, audio quality should have a big uptick. That is so cool. I'm still holding it in my hand.
Good. We could, I mean, if I do what we've been talking about doing on YouTube, then maybe I'll show a picture of the album. I'll just start doing that. I'll just start spending time doing that.
Yeah, and we can
time
also,
in the podcast.
we can show the phone case too. And
yeah.
Yeah, we can see if that's...
I got a new roommate. I got my roommate. I'm not going to name any names. Because...
Quinn Johnson.
Yep.
That's not his name.
No, it's not. Could be, though. Because you would never know. He's from a different country. International student. Really cool guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you, like, talked to him?
Not in person. We've texted back and forth.
Good.
He lives a long... He's many hours ahead of me in a time zone, like 9 hours.
Yeah.
So by the time it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, for me, he's going to sleep. It's like midnight for him. Or it's like, I don't know, it's getting late. It's probably more like 1 o'clock. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really cool. I've talked to him a lot. He's a year older than me. He is also going to be an electrical engineer.
Wow.
Which is the counterpart to a mechanical engineer.
Yeah, I wouldn't say counterpart, but it is a different discipline, to be sure.
You wouldn't say?
Like counterpart is in like opposite?
Like you work together.
Oh. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like he's what makes you whole.
Sure.
Yeah.
It takes both of us to complete any project ever.
Takes both of you to screw in a light bulb.
Yep.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exciting.
When I texted my roommate, it was twice. Well, the first time was an actual real conversation, and the second time was, "Hey, are you gonna preference me?"
What does that mean?
For the way roads work, you have to like, both roommates have to preference the other roommate.
So you guys stay together?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said, "Yeah, I already put your name down." And I was like, "Sweet," because at that time I was doing it late, but worked out really well. Really great guy. I'm glad I met him, and I'm glad I spent a year living with him. It was cool.
That's good.
If you guys are texting now, I think it'll be a good relationship in the future.
It's not, we don't like wake up usually and talk to each other because he gets notifications and stuff and conversation gets buried with such a time zone.
Yeah.
But the times that we have talked, it's been like back and forth for several hours. It looks promising.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But back to the main event.
Yeah.
I know Walter is
antsy. News update over.
Yeah. That's what's been happening lately.
Yeah. I guess the place I'd like to start then is, have you heard anything about the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD remaster?
No, I have not. Okay, so where did you learn about this?
From the Nintendo Direct.
Okay. I know you and Peter watch them.
Yes.
I don't all the time.
Great way to consume
unless I
video
know
game media. I love those
something's
things.
coming up that I want to play. Other than that, I don't watch it as much. I do get the email though.
This past one also announced the first ever Legend of Zelda game with Zelda as the main protagonist.
Really?
Yeah, you play as Zelda trying to save Link. Which, in the lifespan of Legend of Zelda, it's kind of crazy they hadn't done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like growing up, I definitely thought Link's name was Zelda.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
But yeah, I'm really excited. The trailer looked really good.
I haven't seen it. That's interesting. That's news to me.
It's in the same art style as Link's Awakening DX, like that kind of claymation.
Okay.
3D.
That's exciting. I liked it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I thought it looked clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda is probably my favorite series. Breath of the Wild in particular was, I think, my favorite game.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah, recently I've heard that Tears of the Kingdom was not the best game of all time. I've seen a couple YouTube video essay thumbnails that like TOTK is a miserable game, blah blah blah.
Okay, I would not go to that extent.
I watched like the intro because I didn't play Tears of the Kingdom, so I didn't want to spoil it, but it seemed like the argument was that they had, like, Breath of the Wild is amazing, and it's a little bit bare bones in some ways, but they make up for it in a lot of other ways, and they spent a long time developing that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom uses the same game engine and same assets as Breath of the Wild, and had the same development time. So the theory was that there'd be more stuff to do, but it's just like still bare bones. And
I don't know, because when Breath of the Wild came out, I think it's most nostalgic to me just because I remember we went on vacation and we were coming home from vacation. I think we were coming home or we were going there, and it was like a long car ride. It was with my aunt. she brought her Switch, and then I did not have a Switch at the time. The Switch, I think, was only out for maybe like a year or several months. She got it right away. And I was like, oh, can I play? And I was like playing different games, and then I stumbled upon this game, and I was playing in the very beginning. I had like the old shirt and the old pants. These are apparel items. And fighting
Bokoblins.
red bokoblins. And I was like, man, this game is awesome. And that prompted me to that summer save up money and buy my own Switch and get Breath of the Wild by my birthday.
Which is a story that I feel like many people share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Breath of the Wild single-handedly boosted the Switch into the limelight. Yes, Odyssey was great for other reasons, but like Breath of the Wild, it still is like an unheard of game.
It was so new.
It's game of the decade.
It was so revelational. It was
revolutionary.
It was a revelation.
Yes. Yeah. It was for me. I remember... Do you remember the first time you realized... I guess not the first time. Do you remember when you realized that the Great Plateau was not the entire map?
I know. Yes, I do remember.
I fully believe that was the entire map.
Really?
Because...
It seemed a lot bigger than what it...
Because, like, the rest
later
of...
on.
Like, the distance, the stuff in the distance... It looks like a skybox.
Yeah.
Which is what developers use. It's like a 2D image that they wrap around the 3D world to like give the illusion of depth.
Yeah.
And like a sprawling landscape. Mario Galaxy 2 and Mario Galaxy have great skyboxes, like make you feel like you are in space. And skyboxes are kind of low graphics, like low fidelity, and they're kind of hazy too because they're trying to cover up the fact that it's a 2D image, and it
makes it look like it's in the distance.
It adds to it, and they did that perfectly in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
it's like kind of hazy.
You finally get the I don't want to spoil too much. You finally get the paraglider though.
Yeah, and
you jump off, and you're like, oh, these trees are actually the resolution's coming in.
Yeah, like no. I think it's the best tutorial ever.
In the beginning, I was like, how am I going to get down from here? And I would jump off and I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not getting down from here.
Right, yeah. It's weird that they have a collision down here. Like, I thought he would just fall into, like, space, but for some reason he hit the ground. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
And it's like...
The story's great. The music on another level.
Yeah, okay.
Nintendo in general,
I agree. Why do you think Breath of the Wild's music is on another level?
I think it has a lot to do with the nostalgic factor with me hearing the sounds and playing at the time that I was playing. Because whenever I got it and started playing, I did not stop for like a year and a half, 2 years, just playing that game, almost solely that game. The sounds were great. I think I was in middle school at that time.
I would... speak to that more.
I really like the music, though.
I think the sounds and like the sound effects are almost as important, if not more important, than the soundtrack. Like the way all the indicators, like when you're going through the Great Plateau, learning the tutorial,
they have a great way of.
There are a lot of buttons in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Every button on the controller is used.
Yep.
So in order to coach the player through that, I have a lot of these great pop-up screens that show you what to do, and it's almost like a cowbell being hit twice. It's like
yeah,
and it's like
it's like it alerts you.
It alerts you in a very soft way, but like the cowbell is kind of like this unorthodox, like wild. It's like reminds you of an animal, right?
Yeah.
And every time you find something new, the kalimba or the xylophone, the bells,
Yeah,
it's like
okay. I think they have the same thing with their music, though. I truly do. I think their soundtrack and their sound effects they're both made by Nintendo, and I think they have the same aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like that really fits. That sounds like I just discovered something new.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just have a really good job of pairing the graphics and like, okay, so this has a question mark on it, and I pick it up. and now it's showing me what it is, and then the music behind it.
Yep.
You just pair it.
Yep. And
I think it sounds like you learned something.
And the importance of the item is
Like,
reflected in the sound effects.
Yeah,
If you
it's
pick
more
up,
important.
if
It's
you
like a
pick up
whole piano grand roll.
If you pick up a salt rock,
Yeah.
you get the.
Yeah.
But if you find like a heart piece,
Yeah.
or something more like important, you get the ba 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 ba,
Yeah,
like the
like the
classic
choir, yeah.
choir. Like this is important, and Nintendo has monopolized that so well. I think so many games try and replicate even a shred of what Zelda managed to do with like like opening a chest in Zelda feels better than opening a chest
I
in
will
any
say
other
though,
game.
because they have like 40 years now
Mm-hmm.
behind it, almost 40.
Mm-hmm.
So modern games having that, it's not gonna be quite the same though, because you don't like they've kind of coined this sound and this style for so long.
If you're trying to write a jingle for opening a chest or finding an item,
they've already got it.
They've already got it. Yeah. Like they've got the best one.
Yeah.
So you're going in knowing it's a losing battle. You've got to find the second best one.
Yeah.
And I mean, like other games have great sounds too.
Right.
I can't think of one specifically. I mean, you ever heard of a game called Fez?
Mm-mm. I know The Fez by Steely Dan. Great song.
Well, we can talk about Fez the game later, but whenever Gomez, the main character, opens a chest, it does the spinny thing. And
like your spinning wheel?
No, like the Michael Bay Transformers camera goes around the main characters.
Okay.
So
graphically,
the chest is slowly opening and it's spinning around the chest, and the Gomez is like, and then there's that tension, and the release is it stops spinning, the music stops, and you see the item.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how much Call of Duty you've played.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular shooter game. It's been around for probably 20 years.
Yeah, for the record, I've played 0 Call of Duty.
Okay, so in the zombies modes of this, which is also extremely, if not equivalently popular, maybe even more, the chests, the mystery boxes or whatever, they have like a Jack in the Box. And then you get your item, whether it's good or not. Which is, I guess, a way to add suspense in opening a chest.
Yeah.
But I can't think of other games right now. Like in Skyrim, it would just sound like a chest opening.
Yes.
Chest opens.
I presume in COD Zombies, it's kind of a creepy thing.
It is. So, yeah, and the zombies are...
It adds to the atmosphere really well.
Yeah. The chests are also creepy looking and...
Yeah, of course, in that regard, you wouldn't want to imbue the sense of childlike wonder into your player. You'd want them to think about shooting more zombies.
Though. I think it'd be funny.
I think, yeah, sure.
But that'd be more of like I don't think that'd be a core game mechanic.
It would sacrifice the atmosphere they're trying to create there if they went for a more Zelda thing.
Like if every time you reloaded, your character like clicked his heels together, I think that would take away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Zelda has...
Like the Guardians in The Legend of Zelda, whenever the eye is on you, like the music is anxious. Like it makes you...
Okay,
if you know...
Yeah. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild opens up with a very simple, here's how you walk around.
Mm-hmm.
And then once Link exits the cave where you begin, the music kind of swells, and you pan out over Hyrule.
Mm-hmm.
And
or what you think is Hyrule.
What you think is Hyrule, yeah, because again...
It's just the Great Plateau.
It's just a Great Plateau and a bunch of stuff in the distance. And you are like suddenly overwhelmed with how small you feel.
Mm-hmm.
In Breath of the Wild,
I will say it's almost like they do that twice, because look at this entire plateau and how big it is and how minute you are, and then upon that, look at how big the entire game is, and you're on this tiny plateau.
Yeah, I think there are other subtle things that they use to that effect too. Like in Breath of the Wild, the camera's a little bit further back than in other 3D Zelda games. Like, I believe Twilight Princess Link, which is the Zelda game for the Wii. I believe he's the oldest Link. I think he's
Is it
17.
for the Wii or Wii U?
It's for the Wii. Actually, it's for the GameCube and the Wii, but whatever. And he's the oldest Link. He's the tallest Link, and that game's design is more like, not smaller, but like focused puzzles. So like you're kind of closer. Same thing with Skyward Sword. Link is like a young adult.
In Breath of the Wild, you're out, you're exploring.
You're out and you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how old Link is in Breath of the Wild. I would assume at least teenage years.
He's hundreds of years old.
He is hundreds.
He died 200 years ago or something like that.
But you're not up in his business. Like he doesn't take up that much screen space.
Right.
Which is a valuable
It is
commodity.
like he's like, I would guess he's like 19.
I would have guessed that too, but I don't know.
I think he's 19 or 20. He is.
I think he's younger than that, but
You think even younger?
I'm just like 18.
He could be 18, sure.
Yeah.
In that realm.
Yeah.
He's a respected knight, though.
Yeah.
And a legendary swordsman.
Yep. Yeah.
If you don't know the premise of the game, though, I'm going to explain that right now. He, in The Legend of Zelda, in like all of them, from 1986, you're Link, you are a swordsman, and you are trying to rescue the princess that's been captured. I don't know in the first game, or in the Adventures of Link games, if Princess Zelda was taken by Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Because other games, it hasn't, I don't think, always been Ganon. Like in Skyward Sword, I can't remember what his name is, but...
Demise.
Yeah.
Well, that one's different because that's the first game. But yes, we're gonna have ourselves. In most games,
anyway, yeah,
the princess is taken. And
it's like Mario. Mario came out in 1985. Legend of Zelda came out in 1986. Mario, you're trying to save the princess from Bowser. Very similar concept, very different way of going about it.
Yeah,
it's not just a platformer. Actually, in the 1986 Legend of Zelda, it's not even. There are parts of it, but not really a platformer. It's like 2D, 8-bit.
Yeah.
Where in Mario, it is like fully a platformer, and that's what you know until modern day, or Mario for the N64. Anyway, though, Breath of the Wild, I will say different, like completely different start, and I think that's why it deserves Game of the Year. Completely unique start. You're not like fully just tasked with all this stuff. Like, it is fully open world. If you never want to fight Ganon ever in the entire game, you don't have to. If you want to wake up, get the glider to get off, and go straight to the castle, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect so much. I don't know. They just did a really good job with the atmosphere of all the parts.
Yeah.
There's different, like, not biomes, but areas. You have, like, thick forest. You have water areas. You have, which a lot of games have that. Or a lot of the Legend of Zelda games have that, but, yeah, I haven't played all of them. I haven't played Twilight Princess. Never played that one. And haven't played Majora's Mask. I have it, but I haven't beat Ocarina of Time yet, which is another amazing game.
Yeah.
Great music. Yeah, I don't know. Breath of the Wild is awesome, though.
Yeah. Do you want to talk more about Breath of the Wild?
We can move on. Let me talk about...
I got more to talk about Breath of the Wild.
Okay. And Tears of the Kingdom I also want to talk about, but...
Okay. There were a lot of critiques. I remember that the Breath of the Wild music was very lackluster.
You think so?
I don't think so, but internet did for a little bit at least. And they pointed to...
They're going to find something.
They pointed to Majora's Mask and the Zora songs. Like, there's a band in Majora's Mask, and like, music was a very big part of that part of the campaign. You know, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask utilize a musical instrument for a Link to, like, traverse the world.
The
and use
ocarina.
powers, the ocarina. So, you know, music was a really big part of those two games, and there are plenty of games or plenty of music songs, and there are plenty of songs from those games that I guarantee you'll recognize.
See,
Like
from Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess, or
specifically Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
which one were you talking about that people were criticizing and then looking back to?
Breath of the Wild.
To what?
Majora's Mask.
Okay, I haven't played it. Ocarina of Time, I don't know if is it same music? Very similar?
Yes, so just how Tears of the Kingdom is the same engine as...
So why wouldn't they just say Ocarina of Time?
Uh,
I've never played Majora's Mask.
well, they're
Ocarina of Time music is amazing.
yeah.
You haven't played Ocarina of Time, but you know the music in Ocarina of Time is amazing.
Yes, just like many other people do. Song of Storms, Chef's Kiss.
So in that aspect, I guess, then I don't know how yet they can hold a candle. Look at Majora's Mask. The music was so... Haven't even heard a song from it. I've heard of Ocarina of Time, and Ocarina of Time, I could see the argument, because Ocarina of Time music was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, this is like 15 years later, 18 years later. It's not 18. It's probably, I think Ocarina of Time came out in like 2001 or 3 with the N64. I don't know. Early 2000s, I'm pretty sure. Which I've always thought was it came out in the 90s. But anyway, a lot more stuff. I don't know how they made music in Ocarina of Time. Breath of the Wild, though, you have orchestras, you have choirs, you have very, very talented people. You have which they had sound engineers back then too and stuff. But like, if you're spending so long on a game, the graphics are the way, like they're deliberately made this way. Because I think that's the thing that I saw critiqued the most was the graphics, which I thought like it almost looks like anime or like a cartoonish in a way. It's not like super realistic, which I think that was a good move, because if they tried to make it look realistic, it probably wouldn't, and it would look poor. But the way that they did it, I think, looks good. But anyway, if you're spending all this time into art and this whole storyline and this engine is huge, I think the music fits it perfectly. I listen to the music a lot. Whenever I'm doing work and stuff, like I listen to a lot of...
Yeah. I think the biggest strength of Breath of the Wild's soundtrack is the juxtaposition between the slow moments and then the lonely moments and the moments where you're surrounded by life. When you're in the wild, you get that when you're in the wild, you get that reversed piano key. And especially at nighttime or when a blood moon's drawing near, they play that one a lot. Because it's kind of like unsettling. It's just a guy going crazy tickling the ivories, you know?
Yeah.
But when you stumble across like Zora's Domain or Korok Forest...
Which, by the way, Zora's Domain, my favorite. Favorite music.
I think every single town does a great job of
I don't know what it
instantly
is.
giving you the vibe of what the town is and the residents.
That's the thing. I don't know. Is it truly the music, or is it like, okay, so I'm surrounded by water right now, and this sound is playing, so I'm just going to automatically link the two?
I don't know.
I do think it is the music, though, because the music matches perfectly.
Do you remember the Korok Forest song?
Yeah.
It sounds like Goofy and...
Like the...
And
yeah. Yes, but it sounds like I'm in the woods, surrounded by little...
Yeah. Surrounded by little guys that are happy all the time.
Yeah, it's happy, it's upbeat.
It's percussive.
So what do you think about...
It sounds like with wooden...
When you're like, it's nighttime, and you're around, and it's like... Dun, dun. And that's it. Like, that, you know that piano strum I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It just adds...
I'm
out
exactly. I think
I'm in the night right now.
It only adds.
Okay.
When I hear the wild music in Breath of the Wild, I don't think of it as music. Like, I think it just is being in the wild.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
I'm not
listening to a song. I'm just listening to the wild. It's like how the crickets chirp,
Right.
or how a bird will call
Mm-hmm.
at nighttime, and the piano plays with Diddy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's just like part of the nature.
What do you think about when you're riding a horse?
When you're riding a horse, yes, yeah. It's not like
It sounds.
it's not like you're charging into battle or you're like a cowboy in the Wild West,
It sounds like you're just galloping on a horse.
and like the wind is in your hair.
Yeah.
You can feel the wind on your face because it's so quick and light. Yeah, it's great.
I don't remember what the Sheikah,
The Gerudo.
like the travelers that turn into.
Oh, the Yiga.
Yeah, the Yiga clan.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they sound like.
Neither do I.
What about like the Gorons?
Um.
Boom, 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 boom. Where it's like a.
No, that's Terrytown. Well, how does the Gorons go? It has a trombone. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, I know.
Because a trombone just goes like really brassy.
I think I was listening to Ocarina of Time music this morning because I really like it, and a lot of it is very peaceful.
Yeah.
And like a sound of that came on from Ocarina of Time of like the Gorons. You know it's the Gorons. Like they're big, they're rock people.
Yeah, and
there's
that's
a big trombone going.
And that's the power of a motif, is that throughout the decades, you hear, like, and the songs are different. Yes, they have similar themes, but it's just like, if you hear the Goron City theme in Twilight Princess and in Breath of the Wild, you will know that they're the Goron City theme.
Yeah.
They're not the same song, but it's just like, oh yeah, that's a Goron. This big, brutish rock monster that calls you dude and brother.
It's probably clumsy. You can pull that from the music.
Yep, yeah. Or, yeah, just like really relaxed. My moment, honestly, when I first appreciated the music was when I battled a stone talus.
Okay.
Which
also a really good song.
I call the Gorons a rock monster, but a talus truly is a boulder that gets up and tries to crush you. A boulder with arms.
It has like
whereas Gorons are humanoid.
It has a big piece of flint on its back that has like gems or something in it.
And that's how you heard it. But in the Great Plateau, you're walking through the forest and you see a rock. Okay. Like, you walk near it and all of a sudden,
bum 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 bum.
The singer plays like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And you turn around and there's this boulder trying to kill you. Boom, 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 boom.
Throwing his arms at you.
And like,
it does have characteristics of like being like whimsical almost.
Yeah. Like this is a goofy thing that's happening.
But it's also like it's a battle. It's intense. It sounds like a battle.
It's you know how you ever heard the classical piece Dance of the Nights by Sergei Prokofiev?
Probably not.
I would recommend listening to that. Dance of the Nights. It was written for a ballet. For Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
But like Dance of the Knights, like as in like knights in armor.
Okay.
It's supposed to depict like a battle, like two knights.
You think it does?
Fighting, yeah. And like, oh my gosh, that song does better at giving me like a visual than some movies do.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I listen to Dance of the Knights, I can hear like the weight of the armor and like the power behind these like laborious swings, these like heavy claymore swords.
Right.
And it's the same way for the stone talus.
Which is so cool because you have these visuals and then you have these sounds that
wonderful
like,
visuals.
If you were to just listen to the game and like someone else played it, you could probably paint a really good picture of what's happening.
Yeah.
So to be able to have the visuals on top of that, I think just makes it that much better of a game.
When the stone talus throws its arm at you, it's not like a quick thing.
Right.
Like it swings back really slow and takes a step forward and its arm's coming up and then it slowly launches it.
Right.
And it matches with the music really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's exceptional.
So then you brought that up about it being so slow and stuff, and it made me think of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
A medieval game.
Yep.
Much harder.
Also Game of the Year. Also critically acclaimed. But yes.
Unforgiving.
It is a Souls game.
The music is not as like recognizable to me. Like some of the themes they sound dark.
Yep.
But
there's a lot more intricacy in From Software's soundtracks. From Software is the company that develops all the Souls-like games. So Dark Souls 1 through 3, Elden Ring, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro.
Okay.
And like all of their boss themes are big productions. A lot of them have choirs, and it sounds like it's unlike Breath of the Wild, which is like really grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dark Souls shows you the might of the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, now that you say that, I do remember, it's been a long time since I've played, but it's been an even longer time since I've played Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recall it like it was
Yes.
last week that I played.
Yeah.
But in Elden Ring, the reason I mention that, though, it's a lot less forgiving. So, like, this thing's swinging now, and you have to react to it, or else you're probably going to just die.
Yeah, it's not...
Which the Talus, like, starting out, the Talus is pretty much the same way.
Right.
Once you get far into the game, though...
It's so easy.
Yeah.
But...
He goes to throw, and you sprint to the side.
Yes. It's different goals, I think, between the two games. And that's not a bad thing. That's wonderful, because I think Nintendo's really good about having bosses telegraph,
mm-hmm.
and so you can pick up and learn really quick. But in Elden Ring, there is no way to get better than to die and die and
mm-hmm.
die and die and die and die, because the timing is so quick, and the bosses don't move with, like, if they're a big guy or a big monster, they don't have a laborious arm animation that throws something.
Yeah, they're huge, and then they swing like you would not imagine at times.
And they're like, their swords are massive too, so if you're caught in the path, like, you're dead.
Yeah, like a telephone pole is a sword.
Yeah.
He's giant, he jumps up, and then you're like, oh, he's swinging right now. He just holds it. Yep. He swoops down and, like, lands on his feet and then strikes, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're one shot.
Yep.
Okay, but other enemies, like just common things, do they have music? I don't remember. Do they have music when you're fighting them, or when you're surrounded by an enemy?
In Elden Ring?
Mm-hmm. Because I thought it was a lot more of just like a generic, like you were walking down the trail, how it would be in real life. Okay, well, I'm in combat with this person. We're in Breath of the Wild, like you get encountered by an enemy, and then the atmosphere is built.
Yeah.
I think in Elden Ring, at least, it's more of like, it's not as serious of a thing, even though they can kill you as well.
Yeah.
But they're not, especially once you start getting halfway decent and you know what you're doing, they're really not that much of a chore.
Yep.
Where, like, the bosses still are a chore.
Yeah.
Unless you're insanely good.
Yeah.
Where they have so much production for bosses, but for just the common enemy, there's not, like, intense music that plays, because it's not that intense.
Well, yeah. In Souls games, I think every new area, the enemies are terrifying. And then once you figure it out,
mm-hmm.
it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they have really good ways of giving you that fear of a base enemy without needing music.
Right.
And I think, in my opinion, that's why they save it for the bosses.
Okay.
Is because they're pretty evenly spaced out.
Which I think is...
And so when you come across a boss, they need to, like, instill on you that, like, this is a big deal.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. I think it's a good thing that they do then, because you're like, okay, well, this is just... I got past that guy, and then you get to this thing, and then there's an orchestra backing him up, and you're like, oh, man. This is a monumental thing.
Yeah.
That's about to go down. Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to bring that into light really quick. I have not played as much Tears of the Kingdom as I've played Breath of the Wild, just because it was such a unique time, I think, during that. And it was a new game. Like, this was completely new for Legend of Zelda. I think very new style for games. In, like, 2016, I think, is whenever it came out. And then Tears of the Kingdom, I think, was really good. I really liked that game. I don't know if it beats Breath of the Wild. I've been a lot more busy lately as I've gotten older, So I haven't had the time to like sit and like as I'm at school, I'm excited to come home and play it. It was like that for a little while, but I think I haven't had that interest, which sucks. But I really like that game too. I really like being in the sky.
Yeah.
I think they still do it really well. It's just how much. Yeah, they use the same engine, but now instead of just flat level, you have a bottom level, which is new. You have a top level, which is new in the sky. And then there's a different theme behind it. There's kind of a different story behind it. A lot of music is the same. A lot of stuff has changed. I think the storyline is really good. But how much like are they gonna make a new entire engine and entire game after they just made this monumental one?
I have not played Tears of the Kingdom, but I can't fault them for that.
Right.
This is the third game they've made with that engine now, and
What did they? What Hyrule Warriors?
Hyrule Warriors,
Okay.
yeah.
Other good game. I do play that game from time to time because it's different. It's not like I'm trying to do achievements. In that game, there's just hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies, and you kind of use different characters, which is a cool aspect. It doesn't feel the same entirely to me. You just swing and you kind of like you knock, a dozen bokoblins off to the side like no problem.
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's a different style of game.
Yeah. But it's kind of fun to just sit down and like almost mindlessly, and you're still playing Legend of Zelda. But continue.
Well, I just think that I couldn't fault them for wanting to use it again.
Right. Yep.
It's really good. I'm not gonna get tired of it. I kind of view Breath of the Wild's look and feel to Cuphead.
Okay.
And like,
so I never played Cuphead.
If Studio MDHR wants to continue employing real animators to draw frames for their games and like make more games in that style, I will buy it every time. I'll never get sick of it. Like, it's just you have to recognize the craft behind it, I think.
What is Cuphead?
So Cuphead is a run and gun shooter boss rush. All there is to do in that game is fight bosses. There's no really in between levels.
It's like a 50s style, right? Or like a 40s?
It's styled after the 1930s.
Okay.
1930s animation in America, specifically taking after Max Fleischer, who was the main competitor to Walt Disney until Disney blew up in fame. And if you look at Max Fleischer's old cartoons, they're a lot darker. Max Fleischer's studio was based in New York City, and Walt Disney's was based in California.
Okay.
And so you can kind of see the difference in culture and style in the two animators. It's really fascinating. Fleischer's cartoons were a lot darker in tone and in like color. Yes, they were both black and white, Steamboat Willie and Max Fleischer's cartoons.
So I was just about to say Steamboat Willie.
But like
of that time,
I think when I see Steamboat Willie, I think of like, I don't know, happiness and like just
he's whistling.
He's whistling, yeah. Whereas, I don't know, people our age might know the spooky, scary skeletons. You know that like frame or set of frames where the skeletons are like sweeping the floor.
I think so.
Like they're going back and forth with their legs. That's from a Max Fleischer cartoon. And if you watch the original cartoon, it is quite good. It is really good. It's the same kind of thing that the Merry Melodies did in Looney Tunes or the Silly Symphonies did for Walt Disney. But yeah, so that cartoon was called Swing You Sinners. Swing is in like jazz, like jazz swing.
Okay.
And the content of his animations is a lot more grim, like almost creepy at times. but I still really enjoy it. If you want to learn more about it, Corridor Crew is a YouTube channel, and they have this great series where professionals in the film world will come on and they'll react to clips.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the animators react episodes reacted to Max Fleischer cartoons, and it was superb. It was great. Yeah, so Cuphead was based off of that specifically.
Interesting.
And that's why I like it so much. Because it's like wholly dedicated to this one style while also merging in great gameplay elements.
Okay.
I think the bosses in Cuphead are a perfect blend of the easily telegraphed moves in Nintendo games and the crazy difficult bosses in like Souls-like games.
Okay.
It's a really good balance, I think.
Which I've never been that interested in, I guess, games like that. Like, I could try it, because I guess I haven't played a whole lot of them, but I've gotten more of the, I don't know, headliner games,
Yeah.
I guess. There are some, though, whenever I started, when I really remember playing video games, a lot of the time during the summer, like during middle school, early middle school, or even elementary school, coming home for the summer, we would wake up, we'd play outside or whatever, and this was like, we used to have like screen time or hour time. It's like, if you do a chore, you get 15 minutes. So we'd do all of our chores so we can have time to play video games.
Yeah.
If I wasn't playing my iPad or something, then I would play, we used to play the Wii a lot, and a lot of those games I played were like Tony Hawk. There's like a skating game that all three of us could play. Me and my two brothers. There was a lot of games for the Wii that, obviously Wii Sports is really good. There was a firefighter game that we played. Monster Jam, I really enjoyed. There's a couple games like that are probably $1 games, if you can get that out of them. But I enjoyed them a lot, and that's just what we play Mario occasionally. And then obviously there were like Skyward Sword and stuff, but I'm interested in a lot of the games that you and Peter get. Because you and Peter get a lot of 99-cent games, $2 games, $5 games from people I haven't heard of. And a lot of them that I've played with you are really good. Speaking of, the most latest that I've played is Baba Is You.
Yeah.
Puzzle game.
Yeah.
Really cool. And we'll be talking more about Baba Is You. Walter will explain it for us because I don't fully understand the whole premise yet in the next episode.
Yes.
And we're going to make this a two-parter.
Yes.
Because there's just so much to unravel, and we're barely at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. There's a lot more iceberg left to go.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. The Titanic is going to hit this iceberg and sink really fast. But before we leave, I think we have to take one last stop at Logan's recommendation room.
That's right. My recommendation is going to be on the same topic. You should... I'm not going to say you should play Breath of the Wild, because you'd have to find a Switch or get a Switch, get the game. At the very least, I think you should listen to some music of it.
Yes.
Because
I would get behind that recommendation, yeah.
The music is amazing. And I listen to it a lot to relax. So, and I would be very interested to know what it's like for someone to not play the game and hear it. What does that sound like? Because whenever I listen to it, I'm instantly remembering the game.
Right.
So, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. So,
do people actually...
How does it make you feel?
Yeah, see the same things, or do they attach something totally new to it? That'd be cool.
So, let us know.
But thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yep, see you guys next week for more video game content.